dive right into to nothing, but we have to do something for next week because you're gone all week too. I don't want to leave a whole week with zero content.
You just pull a Britney Spears and just take a bunch of videos spinning around in your foyer. It brings them the views for her.
I don't think it's gonna work as good for me.
All right. Will, Kristen, Perfect Strangers.
9 Perfect. This show is so hard to recap.
Well, I'm in the middle. I'm half in, is what I said on Twitter. I'm like, I'm half in. I'm definitely not enjoying it, but it's like, I feel like only now in episode 4, so halfway through the run, do I sort of have a sense of
what's happening.
Stakes. Yeah. And it's not for lack of, like, there's been stuff happening, but I just wasn't sure what it meant and to what end. And there are parts of it that, like, I still can't figure out what I think Masha's deal is.
Yeah.
Because she's not concerned enough. Are you getting that?
About which part? All of it?
Sure, all of it. But, okay. So she's microdosing everybody with Silibin.
Yeah.
Which is like magic mushrooms.
Except for Jessica and Ben.
Jessica's just trying to get high.
She's like, come on.
She was like... And I'm still waiting for so many people to fuck. Like, I still feel like
they are
coupled.
Coupling them up, like, in frame and everything, because it was only Lars and what the hell's her name? Zoe.
I'm so into it.
They're the only ones that went in, like, the sweat lodge. They had the same colored smoothie at the end.
I want it so bad. Yeah, I want the Lars and Zoe so bad, and I don't know why. I'm just into it. Like,
well, Michael Shannon is absolutely going to deck him in the face when he finds out.
I find it interesting because he's gay, and we always talk about how, like, male bisexuality is such like a taboo. It's barely touched upon.
Yeah,
and it's like, I mean, as one myself, I'm like, it happens. I had a cruise girlfriend. Yeah. Like,
yeah, I just like, I don't know. I think she'd be into it too. I don't know.
She is pursuing it.
I'm not 100% getting a romantic vibe from her. I'm not getting a 100% romantic vibe from the whole thing.
Just platonic with a 40-something-year-old gay man who's writing an expose on...
He is the most relatable person at this thing to her.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she has nothing in common with Jessica, even though she's closer to her age.
She wants to relate to that dick.
I mean, potentially. I'm just saying. It's not, I don't think it's like the given that you think it is.
Well, and we're getting this really weird taking a tender twist with Melissa McCarthy and with Francis and Tony. Mm-hmm. You know, it's going a lot of places that I anticipated. Like, I saw this coming. I figured Tony was going to end up being a likable or redeemable character. We found out that he killed someone. We had a conversation during the episode where I was like, okay, because he's throwing around that he killed this person. Mm-hmm. And I was like, well, a person died as a result of an altercation.
Well, also as a result
you were involved in.
Yeah, as a result of instigating a fight with you, a professional football player.
Yeah.
Part of that responsibility has to be on that guy.
Because you even said you were like, manslaughter is a word for a reason.
Yeah, like... involuntary manslaughter at the most is, I think, what he would get charged with. And he said he didn't get charged with anything, and they buried it in the newspaper, and nothing came of it.
Which I'm not saying that should absolve him of any and all guilt, but he
not
is
this
currently
much
being
guilt.
a little hard on himself.
This is too much guilt.
He has other stuff. He has drug problems. He has the family problems.
Yeah. He's
got kids, so I can't remember if he talked about a wife. Does he have an ex-wife?
He has an ex-wife. I think the family problems are a result of the drug problems. Mm-hmm. I don't think that they predate the drug problems.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And, you know, we started this coverage, and we've mentioned every time that we're big fans of Melissa McCarthy, and I mean, that stays true. I think not only is she a gifted comedian, but I actually think she's a gifted actress. And I think it's going to sound like too much, but I think she does important work. I mean, I think she gives voice to a character, to a type that isn't served a lot.
Yeah.
And I've
been a fan of her since Gilmore Girls, and she is mostly comedic relief on that show, but she has some moments that are like intense and deep.
And I find that this connection that they have and are having to be very, we've mentioned a million times that they just actually have really good chemistry.
Yeah.
And
I think it helps that they're like actual friends.
Well, I was gonna say I kind of like this thing that's happened a little bit, and I think it's a result of the wealth of content, the streaming services, and all that. Is that we're getting sort of pockets of creators that do stuff together.
Yeah,
like Kristen Bell and Dax Shepard have like a clan, and like these different people sort of fall into different. And I think it's really interesting, and I guess it's not new. I mean, there have been famous screen couples and famous like duos and even trios and stuff. So I find it interesting. I find it.
Wes Anderson's been working with the Wilson brothers for
the
whole time. And that doesn't even go as far as like Martin Scorsese and Robert De Niro and stuff, like forever.
I'm still unsure about Carmel.
That was one of my biggest
feel part of this show.
Yeah, okay. So that was one of the things I didn't actually like about this episode is that only the women had their humiliating trauma put on display for the entire group, which was really upsetting. And then secondly, every time someone has their meeting with Masha, I mean, not every time though, because Michael Shannon totally rebuffed her. It's like the like breakthrough or like the emotional thing that the person says comes out of nowhere. It was just they were like talking and like having a good time joking. And then she was like, and my husband bit me on the breast. And it was like the most passionate thing he's ever done. And I was like, he left a scar, a permanent scar. That's not cool.
No. It was like, it wasn't like it was like a full, like a,
like he chomped like a dental imprint.
Yeah. I was going to say like a medical, like,
yeah. I mean, like it hurt my boob just thinking about it.
And she thinks of it as sweet. Like she clings to it.
Yeah. She was like, I like stroke it every night because it reminds me what we could have been. And I was like,
it's
that's not healthy.
And I mean, I don't know if it's because I'm so much more familiar with Regina Hall's comedy career than and comedy is a factor in this show, but there's just something about it that feels odd. Like I guess she feels, because it's not Regina, maybe she feels underwritten to me. Is that what it is?
Maybe. I think Regina Hall is giving this everything she can.
Oh my god,
which like props, because I love her too. I think she's great, but it's so weird to me what the direction they're going in with this. I'm just like that. I guess that maybe that's the thing, is like not every character feels as well-rounded as the others, where it's like I have a really good sense of Francis, I have a really good sense of Tony, I have a really good sense of Jessica, and I'm getting a better sense of Heather to the point where I kind of like her now. I kind of am enjoying Heather in a way that, like, I kind of want Napoleon to shut up now.
Yeah, her and Napoleon, but that's pretty much it. The rest of them sort of
they're all kind of ciphers. And, like, we're getting a little bit into Delilah, but then Yao, Manny Jacinto, is, like, also totally a cipher. I don't know what his deal is. I don't know where he's coming from.
Well, Delilah like stepped to Masha like she had power, and I was like, we had no reason to believe that they were anything other than like underlings.
Well, I don't think Yao is an underling. I think he's like in it with Masha, but he feels unwilling.
But I mean, I don't think that they're not equals. Like this is her. They work for her. This is her show.
I think he's the most equal.
He's the closest. I don't think so. I mean, that's a valid, but that's not my interpretation.
I also noticed a little something with him and Jessica. She like found him in the woods, and I was like, because she's clearly not getting wet enough from her husband. So.
I just like, I feel like there was a Garfunkel and Oates song about Lost back when I'm dating myself, but the song was called "Why Isn't There More Fucking on This Island?"
Oh my god.
And that's where I'm at right now. But
I feel like there's like 4 instances of sex in the entirety of that series.
They did finally sort of acknowledge in this episode, because it came out with like the drugging, that there's been a disconnect as far as we're concerned with the people at this treatment center and the concept that they're at a treatment center.
Sure.
And so they did at least sort of acknowledge it, where more than one, like Francis was like, I mean, this is what we came here for, but I'm a little put off by the lack of like
consent.
And it's not even consent. I would say more transparency.
Yeah.
And
because that's the thing, is just like, I mean, since I was in college, so, you know, like 15 years ago, I've known that ecstasy and like microdosing certain things, it can really, really do wonders for like emotionally therapeutic things.
It's just not properly studied. It hasn't been fully studied.
Well, because it's illegal. And so it's just like, I agree that like doing MDMA and then having like an intense therapy session can really open things up and help you deal with trauma from your past and like, you know, really help you get to an emotional and mental place that you need to be at. But it's also like, you have to be aware that you're doing it in order for that breakthrough to be legitimate.
But for me, it kind of goes without saying. I'm very in a Jessica place with this, whereas like for starters, and I mean this, I'm not really doing a bit, but it was like I would just trust Masha. I was like, she's beautiful and in a position of authority, so I would just do whatever she said.
So here's the thing. I'm at this facility. I've paid money to be at this facility. I'm drinking this curated smoothie. That's already...
I'm expecting some kind of ayahuasca bullshit.
Of course.
Like,
the minute you say this smoothie
Tranquillium?
this smoothie has been curated for your exact, like, whatever, I'm like, oh, there's drugs in it. Cool.
I'm assuming that's happening, and I'm thinking it's a bit more... Well, I mean, I just said ayahuasca. Like, I'm assuming it's some sort of, like, I don't know, Reiki, medicine, like, hokum kind of stuff. I mean, I guess I'm not exactly thinking, I bet there's MDMA in here, but... Yeah. But no, and then also, like, Jessica, I would be butthurt to be left out.
Getting it, yeah. Well, and also, I mean, like, she and Ben are apparently there for, like, couples things, but he seems totally disinterested.
He's still just a non-entity to me.
Yeah, he seems totally disinterested in the whole thing, and she's the only one who is, like, she seems, like, all in this. She's like, we have problems, I have a problem, I want to, like, be here and do this, and it's like, her and now Heather are the only ones who are, like, full steam ahead, and I just, like...
Well, Heather's just high.
I mean, I like high Heather.
I love that for her.
I love high Heather better than other Heather. She's just rolling around in the sheets at the beginning of this episode. These sheets feel so amazing on my skin.
And, I mean, it just... They had the conversation about how Napoleon feeling guilty about his son's suicide, and she had the requisite, like, it's not your fault. And I'm like, this is a conversation that they should have already had.
Well, but then that's what I said, where I was like, I don't think that he had vocalized his guilt
it's the toxic positivity stuff where he's just he's trying to bypass the painful grieving period. Yeah. Because he knows that it's inevitable, you know, or that he knows he has to pull through it, so he's trying to skip the steps.
Sure.
And
okay, I'm a little bit more with you. I was just thinking about then Zoe being like, no, I want to stay because it's my birthday tomorrow. She's trying to hook up with her camp boyfriend. 100%. 100%. I'm there now.
I want it to happen.
Yeah. I want it to happen.
I just wish he was still with it, the
man?
The husband, yeah.
Oh, why? So he's cheating?
Get home wrecky.
Oh, God. There's been enough home wrecking in this
I might have very specific porn searches tailored to this to this very dynamic.
You're really showing your hand. Here's exactly what turns me on. Teenage girls wrecking happy gay marriages.
She's 21. Ew. Not gross. We did forget to mention that Napoleon's the one who actually killed the goat.
I was unaware.
You were still unclear. Yeah. They said it like 3 times.
Well, I thought he kept on saying it was his fault, but I thought that was just leading into the Zach thing. I thought
there was like a flashback. He like was the one who did it.
Oh, okay.
Who dealt the blow.
I must have said.
And so we also didn't mention the terrifying painting Masha has.
Oh, it's bad.
It's like a owl's head, but then like horrifying angel wings.
Really huge wings.
Made out of like red orange feather. So it's almost like a phoenix. I don't know. And then whoever it is that's stalking her, which is only intermittently concerning to her.
It really is.
She's meandering through this park and just like, oh, right, someone's trying to murder me.
It's literally like full dark, no stars. And she's just like, let me walk into my dark room. And then there's like the broken Japanese pottery on the ground and then like sticky notes on the thing that just says it's good to die.
Yeah. And she's now thinking maybe it could be someone in the camp, like one of the guests or something.
I mean, none of them really feel sinister in that capacity.
The Cornish.
Oh, you think?
Can't trust those bitches.
She
those
hasn't
Cornish.
even had a line.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Exactly.
Lulu is nothing. If it turns out that it's fucking Lulu, I'm gonna be real pissed at this show.
Can't trust those Cornish girls.
Yeah.
A long history with Abby Cornish.
I did it in the other one.
Yeah. Well, because I went to pull the actual quote, and we've done it so many times that the actual quote isn't that egregious anymore.
No, it's not.
She's just sort of saying something. It's a very more turkey Mr. Chandler.
Yeah.
I can't go another year without having him touch my face.
I can't go another day without having you touch my face. It was so bad the first time I heard it.
I'm a little frustrated that we can't just go watch the next one now. I'm like, well, yeah. I'm in now.
This definitely feels like the type of show that should have dropped all at once. Because I'm like, it's not enough mystery to like really keep me engaged, but it's like too much mystery to like make me not care about watching it.
There's like a suggestion. There's like 3 half plots that I'm like, huh.
Also, bold move to make Melissa McCarthy to make her husband this like catfisher, like really, really bad catfisher. I don't know. This show's doing many things. Oh, but Manny Jacinto's butt.
Oh yeah, we missed that.
Manny Jacinto's butt, and then Nicole Kidman's butt that has no right to still look that good. And some side boob too.
I like that it's just her from Aquaman. Like there's no difference.
She was like, James Wan, can I borrow my wig?
This is where she's been for all that time. So, okay.
All right. Catch you next week.
Ah.